The bell rang, the card bent, and a wasp moved. The players sat still. Eyes followed the table. The round had started. Iris leaned forward. Her eyes narrowed. The stop card wasn't flat. It tilted. Edges lifted just slightly. She frowned. Cards had to be straight. Bridge rules demanded order. Someone had pressed too hard, or bent it. Her partner whispered, "Play." She nodded, but her mind stayed on the card. Marple watched quietly. She sat at the far table, not playing tonight, just observing. She always noticed small things. This was small, but not too small. The air felt tense, not silence, just restraint. Voices low, cards snapped down. Giles shifted in his chair. Big man, loud usually, but tonight quieter. His hand hovered over the table. The bent card was in front of him. Iris coughed lightly. She leaned closer, her voice soft. Stop card. Different. No one answered. The play continued. Giles gave a short laugh. Still wins me the trick. He tapped the card. It bent further. Edges flicked. Marple's eyes lowered. She saw movement under the table. Not fast, but steady. Something shifted near the leg. Her hand pressed her lap. She tilted her head. She sniffed. A faint sweetness. Strange at a card table. Not food, not drink. Something else. She turned her gaze back. Iris frowned again. Her pencil tapped the score pad. 1 tap, 2 taps. Her hand shook. She was unsettled. Play on, Giles said, his voice rough. He forced cheer. Cards don't win themselves. Locksley muttered, always impatient. She shifted in her seat. Eyes rolled. The bent stop card wobbled. Not wind, no fan, but it moved. Enough to stir, enough to guide. The wasp crawled higher, tiny shadow on the edge. Its wings buzzed once, then stopped. It seemed to wait. Iris felt her stomach tighten. She knew insects. She taught science. One sting could be nothing, or everything. Her eyes slid toward Giles. He grinned. He thought nothing of it. But his fingers brushed near, closer to the card. Marple leaned back, her hands folded. She missed nothing, not the card, not the insect, not the faint smell below. She glanced at the floor. The smell was sharper now, sweet, almost cloying. It didn't belong here. Her eyes narrowed again. She said nothing. Her silence was its own speech. The table shifted. A card slapped down. The bent stop card trembled. The wasp moved. It rose. It circled once. Giles swore. He swatted. The others froze. The wasp darted, straight, quick, toward his hand. He jerked. The sting came fast. A sharp sound escaped him. The room paused. Everyone stared. Giles winced. Something brushed his hand. One sting, one click, no cure. Giles slapped his hand. Too late. The wasp had struck. He cursed loudly. The sound cut through the room. Cards froze in midair. Iris pushed back her chair. You. Her words broke. Giles staggered. His face flushed, then paled. Sit down, Locksley ordered. Her voice shook. Don't panic. But panic spread anyway. Eyes widened. Hands reached. Chairs scraped. Marple did not move. Her eyes stayed fixed. She saw the sting. She saw the skin swell. Fast. Too fast. Giles clutched his chest. He gasped. Pen. My pen. Dudley stood. He fumbled at the coat rack. A stub fell. He ignored it. Grabbed the jacket. Pulled out the EpiPen. Here! He shouted. He thrust it forward. His hand shook. Iris snatched it. She twisted off the cap. She pressed it hard to Giles's thigh. Click. Nothing more. No hiss. No release. Giles wheezed. His lips swelled. His breath rattled. Again! Someone cried. Do it again. Iris tried. Click. Still nothing. Her hands trembled. Her face white. It's broken, she said. Her voice cracked. Dr. Haydock rushed forward. He grabbed the pen. He checked the label. His jaw tightened. His lips pressed thin. "Trainer," he muttered. But no one heard. Marple leaned closer. Her eyes narrowed. Her hands stayed folded. Her silence stayed sharp. "Get another!" Locksley screamed. "There must be another!" Dudley shook his head. "That's the only one." The room filled with noise, shouts, questions. Fear. Giles toppled sideways. His chair crashed. Cards scattered. Iris tried to hold him. He slipped. His weight pulled her down. She knelt beside him. "Breathe," she cried. "Hold on." Giles groaned. His face blotched red. His chest heaved. Dr. Haydock pressed his ear close. He counted under his breath. Too quick. Too shallow. Marple rose slowly. She stepped closer. She looked at the pen, still in Iris's hand, still useless. The others circled, fear rising, no plan, no order. "Ambulance," Dudley said. "I'll call." He reached for his phone. His fingers slipped. He dropped it, picked it up again. "No signal," he said, his face drained. "Then run," Locksley shouted. "Go get help." Dudley hesitated, then sprinted out. Giles twitched. His arms flailed. His eyes glazed. His voice rasped. Iris squeezed his hand. "Stay with me." Giles gasped. His throat closed. Words barely formed. "It's—" He choked. His chest shook. His eyes bulged. "It's not working." The strongest voice in the room went quiet. Giles lay still. His chest stopped. His mouth half open. His eyes stared blank. No sound came. No breath. No words. The room froze. Cards lay scattered. Chairs half turned. Faces pale. Locksley covered her mouth. Her hand shook. Her eyes bulged. Iris dropped her hands. Her arms limp. She stared at Giles. Her lips trembled. Nothing came out. Dudley stumbled back in, his shirt damp, his face red. He stopped at the door, his voice weak. "No signal." "I couldn't." He saw Giles. He said nothing more. Dr. Haydock bent low. His fingers pressed Giles's neck. He counted, then stopped. He pressed his ear to the chest. Silence. He looked up. "Gone," he said. Failure of injection. Nothing worked. No one moved. The words hung. Lady Bantry shut her eyes. She whispered, "Dear Lord." Marple stood still, her gaze sharp. Not at Giles. At the people around him. Her eyes shifted. Locksley clutched her armrest, knuckles white. Iris shook, eyes wide. Dudley stared at the floor. Vera sat rigid, her handbag in her lap, her fingers tight around it. Too tight. She did not look up. Marple noticed. Small things always told more. The hand pressed down, the grip unyielding. The bag never left her side. Dr. Haydock exhaled hard. "He was dead before we could do more." He shook his head. The device gave nothing. Locksley snapped. "Then why bring it?" Her voice sharp, her fear louder. Iris flinched. "He always carried it, always." Her voice cracked. He trusted it. Marple's gaze didn't leave Vera. Not once. Dudley dropped into a chair. He buried his face in his hands. "I should have checked. Should have known." "No," Haydock said, flat. This was deliberate. Heads turned. His tone had weight. His eyes steady. Device was switched. Shock spread again. Mouths opened. No one spoke. Marple blinked once, her face unreadable, but her eyes said more. Lady Bantry whispered, "Then it was murder." No reply came, but silence answered enough. The minutes dragged. No one dared to move. Giles. The table stayed broken, the air heavy. Locksley finally spoke. "What happens now?" Dr. Haydock rose. "Now the police, nothing else." He stepped aside, folded his arms. He waited. But Marple kept watching. Not the body. Not the table. Vera. Always Vera. The woman's grip had not eased. Her knuckles still pale. Her eyes still down. Marple saw her lips move, barely sound. But enough. Vera muttered, this wasn't supposed to happen tonight. The chart told one story, the ashes told another. Inspector Slack arrived, his coat still damp. His voice sharp. Where's the seating chart? No one answered, eyes shifted, hands restless. Dudley swallowed. It was on the notice board, pinned up before the game, every table marked, every pair fixed. Slack pointed. Then where is it now? Lady Bantry stepped closer. Her shoe brushed paper. She bent down, picked up blackened scraps. Here, she said, her voice uneasy. Someone burned it. Slack snatched the fragments. He turned them in his hand, edges curled, ink half gone. But letters still faint. Marple moved near. She leaned slightly. Her eyes caught the marks, a number, a name, scorched but not lost. Table 3, she murmured, her tone calm, her eyes steady. Iris spoke up. Yes, he was meant for table 3, her voice sharp. The window side, that's where he always wanted. Cooler air, better light. Slack frowned. But he wasn't there. He was here, table 1. Dudley shifted. He tugged his cuff. There were adjustments, last-minute swaps. We had too many pairs. Someone had to move. Loxley cut in. Don't blame me. I sat where I was told. Slack's voice rose. Who made the changes? All eyes turned. Toward Vera, her bag still in her lap, her face tight. I arranged the list, she said, her tone firm. But Giles insisted. He wanted balance. He ordered the switch. Iris snapped. Number he didn't. He told me. He wanted the window. He said it clearly. Bantry nodded. I heard him too, just before dinner. He spoke of it. Vera's mouth tightened. You misheard. Slack glared. Misheard. Or covered. The silence cut deep. Only the crackle of paper, the burned scraps in his hand. Dudley shifted again. He wiped his brow. Maybe it was my fault. I carried the chart to the printer. I might have confused the slips. No, Marple said quietly, her tone certain. This was not confusion. Slack leaned closer. What do you mean? Marple's gaze dropped. To the ashes, to the charred letters, then lifted again. Look, she said. She pointed. The marks show correction. Ink laid over ink. Names scratched out. Replaced. Not printer error. Deliberate. Iris gasped. Her hand rose to her mouth. Her voice thin. He was moved. On purpose. Slack scowled. His hand closed around the fragments. Then who gained from that seat? Eyes darted around the tables. Faces stiff. No one spoke. Marple's lips parted. Her words slow. Measured. Someone moved him. 2 coats. Same number. Slack gathered the group. He pointed at the rack. Whose jacket is this? Vera stepped forward. Her voice brisk. I handled the stubs. Each coat had a number. Simple system. 1 ticket here. 1 in the pocket. Lady Bantry frowned. Her hand brushed the rack. She leaned closer. Her eyes narrowed. This can't be right. She pulled 2 slips, both marked, both neat, both the same. 17, she said. Her tone low, her gaze fixed. There are 2. A murmur spread. Eyes turned to Vera. Her lips pressed thin. Her fingers curled. Slack snapped. How do you explain this? Vera stiffened. There should not be 2. Never 2. 1 for each. Always. Bantry held them high. Everyone saw. The numbers matched. Perfect copies. Marple stepped closer. Her head tilted. Her eyes calm. Whose coat carried it? Bantry checked. Her hand searched the pocket. She drew another stub. 17 again, inside Giles's jacket. The air shifted. Faces paled. Hands fidgeted. Slack barked. Then someone had access. Direct access. This proves it, Iris whispered. Someone touched his coat. Her eyes wide. Someone searched it. Vera shook her head. Number impossible. I logged every ticket. I checked twice. Not well enough, Loxley cut in, her tone sharp, her chin high. You missed it, or allowed it. Vera's eyes flared, her voice sharp. Don't accuse me. I kept order. Without me, there's chaos. Slack slammed the table. Chaos is murder now. The group flinched. The word hung heavy. No one denied it. Dudley shifted, his collar damp, his voice uneasy. Maybe there's an explanation, a printing error, a slip in the run. Slack turned, his stare cut deep. Explain then, how do two stubs exist? Same number, same night, same coat. Dudley swallowed hard. His fingers twitched. He tugged his sleeve. His lips parted. Words stuck. Iris pressed him. You worked the printer, didn't you? Dudley nodded once. Yes, I handled the tickets. Silence followed. No one spoke. The room tense. Marple's voice soft. Then tell us, why 217s? Dudley's hands shook. He lowered his head, his words faint, but clear. I printed those tickets. Sugar calls more than hunger. Marple bent down. Her fingers touched the table leg. They came back sticky. A faint shine clung to her skin. She rubbed it lightly. Sweetness, thick. Not drink, not polish. Something else. She looked closer. The wood grain smeared. Tiny dots caught in the grooves. Residue left on purpose. Slack leaned over. What is it? Marple held her fingers. Sticky. Sugary. Not natural. He sniffed once. Jam. Marple nodded, her eyes steady. Jam. Someone placed it here. Lady Bantry frowned. Who would smear jam on furniture? No one replied. The room stayed tight. Eyes avoided hers. Iris shifted in her chair, her face pale, her voice low. I smelled it earlier, near the pantry, the buzz of wings. I thought nothing, just summer wasps. Marple asked calmly, when exactly? Before play began, Iris said. Her hand trembled. One flew by the cupboard. I waved it away. It circled near the jam shelf. Slack turned to Vera. You oversee supplies. Check the kitchen. Vera stiffened. I will not be ordered. Check, Slack snapped, his voice firm. Reluctant, Vera rose. Her bag stayed clutched. She walked out. The hall echoed. Moments later she returned, her face pale, her tone clipped. One jar missing. The group stirred. Murmurs rose. Eyes darted. Slack growled. So the insect was drawn, guided. Loxley scoffed. Coincidence, a wasp will find sugar anywhere. Marple shook her head. Not coincidence. Placed, right beneath his chair. Iris whispered. Then it was planned. Her voice cracked. Lured here, set on him. Bantry shivered. Deliberate, not chance. Dudley clutched his sleeve. But why smear it there? Why so obvious? No, Marple said, her tone sharp. Not obvious, hidden below the table, out of sight, but not out of scent. The group went silent. The words sank deep. Slack paced. He muttered under his breath. Chart burned. Coat stubs doubled. Now this. Every piece arranged. Haydock crouched. He touched the sticky line. He sniffed once. His brows drew tight. Fruit. Raspberry, I think. Vera's hands clenched harder. Her bag pressed close. She did not speak. Marple studied her, noted the tension, noted the silence, noted the weight she carried. Iris repeated, softer now. The buzzing. It started near the pantry, then followed here, drawn to the leg. The group shifted, every head turned, every eye wide, every voice trapped. Haydock stood, his face grim, his voice firm. This was bait. Every alibi hides a motive. Slack stood firm. His eyes scanned the room. No one spoke. He broke the silence. Each of you will answer, one by one. Start with you, Miss Dacre. Iris tensed. Her chair creaked, her voice low. What do you want? Slack leaned closer. You teach science. You keep insects in jars, specimens. correct? Iris nodded slowly. Yes, for lessons. Butterflies, beetles. Once a wasp, but always sealed. For study, not for this. Slack pressed harder. You know their behavior. You know how to lure them. Sugar, scent, heat. You could guide one. Her lips trembled. That's absurd. I had no reason. I never touched his coat. I never touched the chart. Marple's eyes stayed on her. Her face, unreadable. Her hands, calm. Iris looked around. Her tone cracked. You all saw me. I was with Giles, his partner, tonight. Why would I harm him? If he died? I lost too. The group murmured. Her words carried weight. Slack pulled back. He turned. Very well, but the thought remains. He shifted. Next, Locksley. She raised her chin, her voice sharp. I've nothing to hide. Slack's tone clipped. You used the stop card, yes? She frowned. Yes, I fanned myself. The air was thick. I bent the card. Is that a crime now? Slack's eyes narrowed. You bent it. You waved it. You stirred the air, and the wasp moved. Locksley snapped back. It was hot. I needed air, that is all. Bantry muttered. Still strange. You never do that, usually. Locksley glared. Don't judge me. I had no reason, unlike others here. The group tensed again. Her words carried edge. Suspicion spread wider. Slack kept his stance. He paced slow, his voice cut. Every small act mattered. The chart switched. The stubs forged. The jam placed. The card bent. None of it random. Dudley shifted in his seat. His hand tugged his cuff. He avoided Slack's eyes. Marple spoke softly, her tone precise. The insect flew by force, not by chance. The air directed it. The lure pulled it. Slack nodded once. Exactly, which brings us back. His gaze fixed on Locksley. Her shoulders stiffened. Her breath quickened. Slack's voice dropped. His words sharp. Or maybe, you made the wasp fly where you wanted. A click means nothing if the needle is fake. Dr. Haydock held the pen. He turned it slowly, his eyes sharp, his lips pressed thin. He pressed it once. Click, no release, no needle. He frowned. This isn't right. The group leaned closer, everyone watching, no one speaking. Marple stepped nearer, her eyes on the device, her hand pointed. There, on the side. Haydock tilted it. Faint letters, barely raised, embossed shallow. Marple spoke clear. Trainer, it says trainer. Gasps spread, voices tangled, whispers filled the space. Iris clutched her sleeve. Her words stumbled. A trainer? That means... Haydock cut her off. It means no injection, no medicine, just a hollow click. Dudley stammered. But how? How could that happen? He carried it always. He kept it close. Bantry's voice sharp. Then someone changed it, switched it, before tonight. Vera sat still, her face pale, her knuckles white, her bag still tight in her hands. Marple's eyes caught it, the tension, the silence, the weight she carried. Locksley snapped. Who would even know? Who could tell the difference? Haydock answered. Anyone who looked closely. The trainer is marked, but faint, subtle, easy to miss. Marple added. Not if you intended to use it, not if you planned it. Slack folded his arms, his jaw set. His stare moved across the room. Then someone here made the exchange. Iris shook her head. No one touched his coat. He kept it on the rack. He never let it out of sight. Dudley muttered. Unless someone had the key, or access to the tickets, the duplicates. Bantry nodded once. 17. We saw them. 3 slips. Too many chances to open the pocket. Vera's lips pressed. Her face drained more. She stayed silent. Slack stepped toward her. Why so quiet, Mrs. Lanchester? She flinched. Her bag trembled. I have nothing to say. Nothing, Slack repeated, his voice flat, his eyes hard. Haydock tapped the pen. He held it high. This device killed him. Not the sting alone. The switch sealed it. The group shifted, every face pale, every voice trapped. Marple spoke, calm. It was deliberate, not clumsy, not mistake. It was planned. Silence held. No one argued. No one moved. Vera's breathing quickened. Her hand squeezed the bag. Her eyes stared down. She did not look up. Slack took the pen. He turned it once more. He let the sound echo. Click. Empty. His voice cut. His tone final. This was no accident. Money stains. More than cards. Slack stood tall, his tone sharp. Now we ask why. Why kill Giles? Why risk this? Dudley shifted. His hands trembled. His collar damp. He avoided every eye. Bantry spoke soft. You look unwell, Mr. Pym. He flinched. Her words struck. He lowered his head. It's nothing. Slack barked. Not nothing. You know something. Speak. Dudley licked his lips, his voice thin. There were numbers, not adding up, in the accounts, the hall fund, the bar takings. Eyes widened, murmurs spread. Bantry gasped. Creative accounting? Dudley nodded once. Yes, adjustments, to cover gaps, to smooth things, no theft, just movement. Slack pressed harder. You admit tampering, changing figures? Dudley stammered. Yes, but only small, to balance books. Nothing more? Haydock frowned. Giles found out. Dudley froze. His eyes darted. Yes, he checked the ledgers. He always checked. He noticed gaps. He noticed shifts. Marple's gaze sharp. Her words even. He threatened you. Dudley nodded slowly. Yes, he said he'd expose it. Said he'd shame us. Said he'd ruin the club. Loxley's voice cut in. Ruin you mean? Dudley winced. His head lowered. Yes, me. And Vera, too. She signed off the records. She knew the totals. Vera stiffened, her jaw tight, her bag clutched harder. I signed nothing false, Dudley muttered. You looked away. Same thing. Slack raised a hand. Enough. So Giles discovered fraud. He planned to reveal it. That gave motive. The group shifted. Suspicion spread wider. No one calm. Every face tense. Bantry whispered. All over money, Marple corrected. Not just money. Power. Control. Reputation. Iris leaned forward, her tone sharp. So someone silenced him before he could speak. Silence fell again, every breath heavy, every glance edged. Slack stepped closer to Dudley, his voice low. Who else knew? Who else touched the books? Dudley shook his head. Only me, only Vera. But Giles pressed harder, day after day. He would not stop. Haydock muttered. Enough to drive anyone desperate. Vera snapped. I never touched his pen. I never touched his jacket. Slack ignored her. He focused on Dudley. You hid this, and you let him die. Why confess now? Dudley's hands shook. He stood suddenly. His voice cracked. Because he knew. He knew everything. Ash doesn't lie. Marple sat at the table. The fragments lay before her, charred, curled, half erased. She touched one piece, edges black, center faint ink. She squinted, a number still clear. 3, she said, her voice calm. Table 3. Slack leaned over, his face tight. Show me. She pointed, the marks smudged, but visible, a name beside it, half gone, half saved. Giles, Marple murmured. Giles Tarrant. Silence followed. Every head turned, every face stiff. Slack snapped. He was listed for Table 3, but he played Table 1, so he was moved. Haydock crossed his arms. Deliberate. Marple nodded once. Not mistake. Planned she touched another scrap, burnt deep, but letters survived. Ink pressed dark. Another table marked. Table 1 and Iris Dacre. Iris gasped. Her hand rose. Yes, I was there. He wasn't meant beside me. He forced it. Bantry shook her head. Number he asked me earlier. He wanted the window seat. He said it himself. Slack glared. Then who changed it? Who altered the list? Dudley's voice broke. I printed the slips. I handed them over. I didn't swap names. Then who did? Slack barked. Eyes shifted. No one spoke. Marple tapped another fragment. The ink smudged, but 2 names overlapped. The second, darker, the first scratched out. She whispered, "One name erased, another written. This was not accident." Iris swallowed. Then someone wanted him here. Table 1, not 3. Haydock nodded. Closer to the bait, closer to the trap. Slack slammed his fist. Someone tried to erase this, burn it, destroy the record, but ash doesn't lie. The group shivered. Truth pressed down, harder than silence. Marple laid the scraps flat. She arranged them, edges aligned, the chart rebuilt. "Here is proof," she said. "He should have sat at table 3, by the window, far from the wasp, but someone pulled him here." Slack growled. Someone who knew what seat mattered, someone who controlled the chart. Dudley stammered. "I only delivered it, I swear. I never altered a mark." Slack's eyes narrowed. "Then who had final papers? Who signed them? Who touched them last?" The room went still. Every glance shifted. One direction. Vera. She sat rigid, her face pale, her hands locked on her bag. She said nothing. Bantry broke the silence, her voice steady, her words sharp. And Vera handled the papers. The dead man chose the wrong partner. Iris sat stiff. Her hands gripped the table edge, her eyes wet, her lips tight. She spoke sudden. "He insulted me." Slack turned, his brow lifted. "What do you mean?" She looked down, her voice cracked. "Before the game, he mocked me, called me careless, said I slowed him, said I would cost him tricks." The room stirred, murmurs low, faces tense. Loxley snorted. "He insulted everyone. That was his way." Iris snapped back. "But he said worse. He called me useless, said I had no right to play." Her words cut. The silence sharpened. Slack leaned forward. "Enough to hate him?" Iris's face flushed, her fists clenched. "Yes, I hated him in that moment, but that doesn't make me a killer." Bantry's voice, soft. "Still motive. Anger is motive." Marple's eyes narrowed. She watched. She said nothing. Dudley shifted in his seat, his voice thin. "He insulted me too, said my accounts were sloppy, threatened to expose me." Vera hissed. "He insulted me, as well. Said I hid behind papers, said I was weak." Loxley raised her chin. "He mocked me constantly, said I was too strict, too old-fashioned." Slack's gaze moved slow. One man. So many enemies, each with a reason. Haydock spoke calm. He enjoyed dominance, always needed control, always loud, always right. Or so he thought. Iris trembled. Her voice rose. "He humiliated me in front of all of you, every time I made a slip, every trick I lost. He laughed. He sneered." Bantry sighed. "He thrived on power, and power turns to danger." Marple leaned slightly, her words quiet. "And danger brings motive." Slack nodded. "Motive everywhere, in this room, with each of you." Loxley barked. "Don't twist it," we all argued, "but we didn't kill him." Slack's stare sharp. "You all had reason, but who had chance?" Silence fell again, each glance sharp, each hand clenched. Iris broke it, her voice fierce. "You think I killed him? You think words pushed me to murder?" Slack didn't answer. He let it hang. Iris rose. Her chair scraped. Her hands shook, her eyes wide. She shouted, "Then why am I still here if I wanted him gone?" "Every trap leaves fingerprints." Marple stood calm. Her eyes moved slow, her words clear. "Piece it together. It began with sugar. Jam on the leg. The lure set." She pointed to the table. The scent drew the wasp, placed with purpose, not chance. It waited. Loxley muttered. "And the card?" Marple nodded once. "The stop card. Bent." Waved. It fanned the air, guided the insect straight toward Giles. Gasps spread. The group leaned closer. No one interrupted. Marple's tone steady. The sting struck, but sting alone does not kill. The cure failed. The cure was switched. She lifted the pen, held it firm. Trainer, empty, a fake, the real pen removed. Haydock added, no medicine entered. He had no chance. The sting became fatal. Slack folded his arms. Planned, every step deliberate. Marple agreed. Yes, and every step required one thing. Access, direct access to his coat, to his pocket, to the pen. Eyes darted. No one spoke. Iris whispered. He never let go of it, not unless it hung on the rack. Dudley muttered. The duplicate stubs, number 17, that gave a way in. Bantry's face tightened. So someone opened the pocket, switched the pen, closed it again. Slack stepped forward, which means the killer needed two things, the stubs and the papers, the order. The list, Marple's gaze, swept the room. Her eyes lingered. Vera still clutched her bag, her fingers stiff, her face pale. Marple spoke soft. The burned roster proved the seat change. He was forced to this table. The trap table, Locksley shook her head. Whoever did this knew everything, seating, numbers, the habit with the pen, every detail. Marple answered quiet. Yes. Knowledge only one role carries, one who keeps order, one who manages slips, one who signs records, one who stores accounts. The silence pressed heavy. Every glance pointed, no words needed. Dudley's breath hitched. His voice broke. She knew. She controlled it all. She handled the tickets. She handled the lists. Vera looked down, her grip fierce, her bag shaking. She did not speak. Slack's eyes narrowed, his tone sharp, his voice final. Only the treasurer touched the pockets. Numbers never lie, unless you make them. Slack faced Vera, his arms folded, his voice sharp. You controlled the books, you controlled the tickets, you controlled the seats. Vera stiffened, her bag clutched tight, her lips pressed thin, her eyes darted. I did my duty. I kept order, nothing more. Slack barked. Order? You burned the roster. You printed duplicates. You signed false accounts. Her voice cracked. Number not false, adjusted, balanced, creative, but not criminal. Dudley muttered low. She knew everything. I followed her lead. She told me to print more. She told me to ignore gaps. Vera's head jerked. Her face flushed. That's a lie. You made the errors. You covered yourself. Slack slammed the table. Stop passing blame. This was planned. The pen, the seat, the bait. Her eyes widened. She shook her head. Number not planned, not murder. It was warning, only warning. The room stirred. Whispers spread. Every face tense. Bantry asked softly, What warning? Vera's voice wavered. He threatened us, said he'd expose the accounts, said he'd ruin the club, said he'd ruin me. She looked down. Her hands trembled. I wanted him afraid, just afraid, not dead. Iris stared at her, her tone sharp. You lured the wasp, you bent the card, you swapped the pen. Vera's breath quickened, her voice cracked. Yes. I placed the jam, I burned the list. I gave him table 1, but I never meant him to die. Slack stepped closer, his face hard. You swapped the pen, that sealed his fate. Her voice rose. It was to scare him, just to see his fear, to watch him sweat, to silence his threats, not to kill. Dudley whispered. You replaced it. You knew what it meant. Vera's eyes wet, her shoulders slumped. I thought he would panic, just panic, not fall, not die. Slack's tone cut. Intent doesn't erase action. You caused this. Vera gripped her bag. Her voice broke. I wanted him broken, not gone, I swear it. The group stared. No one moved. No one softened. Marple stepped forward, her eyes calm, her tone quiet, her words clear. but fear can kill too. One small change rewrote the night. Marple stood steady, her voice calm, her tone certain. The story is clear now, step by step. Every piece fits. She pointed to the fragments. The roster first. Giles assigned table 3, but changed, shifted here. Table 1, the trap table. The group listened. No one moved. She continued. Next the stubs. Duplicate numbers. 17 twice, even 3 times. Enough to give cover, enough to open his coat. Dudley lowered his head. He said nothing. Marple pressed on. The pen replaced, real one removed. Trainer slipped inside, so when the sting came, click only, no cure. Haydock nodded grim. Fatal from that moment. Marple looked at the table leg, and the jam, spread neat, hidden below, invisible to eyes, obvious to a wasp. Iris shivered, her hand clenched. It was bait, a trail straight to him. Marple nodded. Yes, directed, guided, by air, by the bent stop card. Locksley swallowed hard, her voice thin. I waved it, I bent it, but I didn't know. No, Marple agreed. You were tool, not hand. The design came from another. The pieces laid, the moves chosen. Slack's face darkened. So the plan was whole, seating changed, stubs forged, pen swapped, jam lured, every link in place. Marple's eyes moved slow. She scanned the group. Her gaze stopped. Vera. Vera sat stiff, her bag tight, her face pale, her breath shallow. Marple's words pressed. Only one held every thread. Only one signed the papers. Only one knew the books. Only one touched the slips. Only one carried motive. Silence spread. No sound. No denial. Bantry whispered. Vera. The name hung heavy, unmoved, undenied. Vera's lips parted. She tried to speak. No words came. Her hands shook. Her bag trembled. Slack stepped closer. Say it, admit it. Vera flinched. Her eyes shut. Her head shook. Tears pressed. I wanted him stopped. He threatened us. Threatened me. He said he'd expose it. Said he'd ruin us. Said he'd take everything. Her voice cracked. Her shoulders fell. I set it up. Yes, I planned it. But I never thought he would die. I only wanted him silenced, afraid, beaten. No one spoke. Every gaze fixed. Every breath sharp. Vera's lips trembled. Her whisper broke. Her words clear. He would have destroyed us all. Motive. Means. And moment. Slack moved forward, his tone firm. Enough, Vera. You set the trap. You moved the seat. You switched the pen. You laid the bait. You end it here. He drew out his handcuffs. The sound snapped. Final. Vera shivered, her face drained, her hands loose now. The bag slid. It hit the floor. She whispered, faint. I wanted him stopped, not gone. Slack's voice, sharp. You got both, and the law decides the rest. He bound her wrists. The room froze. Every eye followed, every face pale. Bantry breathed out, her voice low. All this for money. Dudley muttered. For fear too. He crushed us. He never let go, but still. Murder. Iris lowered her head, her words faint. I sat beside him. I heard his laugh. And still I missed it. I missed the plan. Locksley scowled, her jaw tight. We were pawns, each one used, every move chosen, and we never saw it. Haydock shook his head, his voice flat. He might have lived, if not for that pen. That change sealed him. The silence pressed deep. No one argued, no one excused. Then Beatrice spoke, her voice quiet, her hands tight. I knew. I heard her plan, not all, but enough, and I stayed silent. All eyes turned. She flinched, her gaze dropped. I thought it was bluff. I thought Giles deserved a scare. I thought it would pass. But I was wrong. Slack glared. You hid the truth. You let this unfold. Beatrice nodded. Her lips shook. I feared scandal. I feared ruin. So I closed my eyes. Marple finally spoke, her voice soft, her words even. Red is not in the coat, it's in the motive. The room stilled, her words carried. Sharp, final. No one replied, no one could. Slack pulled Vera forward. She stumbled. She did not resist. The cuffs rattled. The sound cut the quiet. Bantry sat down, her hands folded, her head bowed. Dudley leaned back, his chest heavy, his eyes wet. Iris stared blank, her face pale, her thoughts lost. Locksley muttered under breath, "All rules broken, everyone?" Haydock sighed. Rules never saved him, only truth might have. Marple's eyes moved slow. She looked at each, her words soft, her tone sure. Even in games, truth cuts deeper than rules.